Hi everyone, welcome back to Madam Bonsai channel. Pardon me, been so long I couldn't give you any information, but here today I got some helper from Lachlan come and visit me and more as well. We just do a quick video. He picked out this tree from my garden there and he asked me just hopefully I can quickly restore this. The tree have already an S shape, just growing in the plastic pot for a while. I'll just tidy it up, make the tree a little bit shorter. Just go through with me and see what I can do with this, and hopefully you can enjoy my company again. If anyone don't know what it is a blue cedar. Oh, the tree is very easy to do really. I'll wire this a little bit. Blue cedar is really fun to do because you can work right through throughout the year. And then you can just pick any season really. I can do this when it's really warm. I can do this when it's really cold. They're very easy to adapt. So what my plan to do here is maybe we wire the tree down a little bit. We're talking about wiring before, right, to pick the gate. If you need to see how to pick the right gate for the tree, search on Madam Bonsai wiring. You will see how I pick the gate for the tree, to do the right gate for it. So this is the most boring job for any bonsai lover out there is wiring. But you do find that you enjoyed it too. Get yourself a turntable. The turntable, you can either go for a cheap one on a plastic one, or one of the timber one. They don't make too much noise, it costs a little bit more. But as you know, me by now, I work with anything I see. No need to be fancy with anything with bonsai, I don't think. And also styling too is what suits you. It's needed, not what it suits me. So I like to double this up for the next branch. So when you do your wiring, make sure you have an anchor, right? Anything you do, you must have an anchor. If you don't have an anchor, when you move, you seem to break your trees very easy. So you put your two fingers on the bottom of the wire, one in, one out like that, and then you hold it. You turn your wire, also your finger gap is your wire gap too. So you support your branch at the same time. Also the gap of the cable is the same. So I'm working backward here, so it's a little bit tricky for me, but as you see, if you wire it correctly, it's a gap of your finger, it's a gap of each tree. You see, you watch this now, to move this, it's really easy. You can just bend. If you feel the wire already too strong, just always finish the wire up like that, but don't touch it, don't go all the way here, because this is a tree that in the developing, so you just get the frame right first, and then you deal with how you want to cut this a little bit later on when we finish, So I'll double this up. If you are new to bonsai, this is aluminum wire. You can use your copper. Copper is a lot better. It set the tree a lot better, but it's really hard when you do it, because one day when you already use it, it's set. To undo it, you have to cut all the wire out. For beginner or new to bonsai, aluminum is a lot easier to do it. Pardon my English sometime. If you not understand, stop me. I actually forgot to mention, this is spring in Australia now. So we have beautiful weather now. The weather may be sitting at about 18, 20 degrees. Great time for you to repot anything evergreen, like your blue cedar, your pine, your ficus, if you have to. Really, all evergreen, all the tropical now is a good time to do that. Blue cedar, I never have an issue. As you already seen, I done blue cedar in the middle of 40 degrees, which is 90 something of and then I do even trident maple. I remember I reported trident at 40 degrees too, that in the middle of summer. So all I wanted to do with all this, while I'm wiring, I'll talk a little bit about trees so you guys can understand, or if you think I can help you. When you repot a tree that in the wrong season, all you have to do is pay attention to watering. When you repot in a really hot season, when you're not supposed to do, keep your tree away from the wind, the heat a little bit for 2 weeks. Water them really often. When I say often is twice a day, even in summer. To avoid, we're talking about water when you're supposed to water and when you're supposed not. If you mix your soil correctly, you will never overwater your bonsai, never. So that you can eliminate one issue of overwatering your tree. I'll show you a few tricks on the mix later on and how to pick the right soil for the right tree later on. I believe I already posted a few of them, but I feel like repeating myself a lot. Lachlan seemed to don't give a sugar about if I keep repeating myself. So what you do is to avoid your tree dying or unhealthy when you repot at the time suit you, is your soil. Make sure your soil can never be overwater. So it means you can come out there and water it 10 times a day. The tree can never be overwatered, and that you will be very successful with your bonsai growing. So pretty much I got most of the wiring in for this tree. So I do a lot of wiring trees. This is before I even think of the style. Whatever the tree tell me, I'll do it. So that is finished wiring. I'm going to repot this tree into the pot first, and then we will style the tree to suit with the pot. What do you think? The soil in here back then with just normal pot mix, it's a lot of sand. I wasn't the one who repotted this back then, but it's been in my garden for a few years now. To get a tree out of plastic pot, this is blue cedar, so you can hang on to this and get it out quite easily. But when you work with black pine and all that, you can't do that because you break the bark. So you can knock around. Oh, darling. Sound like I need a saver saw to go around it. Stubborn, huh? Tree look really healthy. Now, don't get scared with this. When you take a tree out of your plastic pot, I'm going to rest it a little bit. The pot that I picked for this tree, roughly, is going to be a training pot. I mean, a bonsai pot, but it still need to grow. Normally, you pick the height of the pot, similar size with the trunk of the tree. The length of this is about 80% height of the tree is good. I'll pick this flame pot because I find that the blue cedar actually look really good in this. So I'm going to put it in that. To do that, I need to clean up this root to be a lot shallower. So I'm going to take half of this, maybe of that. Don't drop it. When you cut root like this, you do a few things, right? You create the room for the tree to grow the base that you want. Also, they created new set of roots. You just leave, like for me, all the blue cedar, I only left about maybe 20% of the root base. I'm happy with that. But if you worry, you can leave a lot more. Make no difference for me to my experience. Like you see all these root here, it's no point I leaving it. It's so brown. It got twisted in that plastic pot. Right now we don't need much root at all. Whatever you see me do, you do the same, the change of the tree, getting unhealthy is very little. If you are further away from me, you don't see my garden, it's different, but say like Lachlan and all that got to see my garden every week. He got to see how the tree doing, and they watched me repot 40 degree, which is extremely hot for the citrus even. Okay, pot. So I got the pot already. Any pot you just prep to make sure you got the drain hole cover if you're new to bonsai. If I keep repeating myself, just tell me to talk a little bit less. Anyone can make me stop talking. They're very successful in life. So to do this, I forgot to tell you this. I'll just undo it. So to secure your net, hold your finger out with the wire like that, and you bend it forward. Clip it on this corner here, and you twist it in. You make that loop there. And if you look at this here, the hose is about that. So you just hold your hand up at about centimeter out. You do the same. And you clip on the corner and you bend it in. And you make yourself a loop like that. Then you just feed it through your wire net. Now to make this not moving, put your finger in the middle, press it down a bit, turn your pot, bend it. You see how tight that is? Now if you don't do it right, it moves like this. So to do this, to fix it, take it out, put your down, your finger, press it down, and then bend it out. And that you get that. And then with me or with anyone, when you do repot or pot your tree up, make sure you tie your tree down. The 2.5 is a really good wire for tying your tree, or even 2 mil is good too. Too big is hard for you to tie, too small it will break it. And if you have the pot that it doesn't have the secure hole, you can just use a big drain one, but this one have the secure, the wire secure pot hole for it. Now talking about soil, let's see if I can show you the mix that I already pre-mixed. Technically, tree grow in any soil if the nutrient is there. Make sure it's well drained. But because of bonsai, and I had a little bit more than tree that I need, so I use a soil that I can control the water a bit better. So this is the mix that I mixed: 30% of akadama, 30% of sakadama, 10% of pine bark, and the rest I just put a little bit of sand. Now with this mix here, you can use for almost your evergreen. You will never be over water with this mix, never. You can water 10 times a day, see I care. To do that, so we prepped the pot already. The tree can be over there. Just feed your soil underneath where the drain, and mold your soil up like that in the middle. As so. Now the pot is a little bit higher than what my liking, but the trees still need to grow, so I'm gonna just use that. You put the tree in and you just wiggle it until it kind of sits properly. I need a bit more soil under there. If you do it yourself, stand back, have a look at the tree, see where you want to sit the tree. So if it's an S shape like this, I like to set the bolt a little bit further to my left, and the center of your top tree is the center of the pot. Trees in, it have to be able to stand by itself without the wiring. If it haven't stand and you try to secure it, the tree will move and all that is not good. So if the soil without the wire, the tree should stand still like that for you. Now this tree have a really big bowl, but it's very small root around, so find an anchor to tie your tree correctly. So when I let go of this, even with the wind and everything, it shouldn't have to move my tree. So when you hold things like this to do, you hold it a bit more gentle. And they still do the same job. So the tree should stand by itself. And you feed your soil in. Once your soil in, you want to go fancy. Any stick that is a little bit not too sharp, I only flip my tools, as everyone would know by now. You just shake it gently to make sure that your soil go in between the roots of all. So later on, it will find its way to grow. If you don't separate the root here, when you water, the water will sit out here. They don't get into your trunk of the tree, and you find that your tree might get unhealthy because when every time you repot, you don't treat the root right, that will happen. So this exercise here only help us to get the soil go in all in between roots correctly. Just make sure that you don't fertilize your tree after you cut so much root off for the next. If it's spring, like growing season, it's 6 weeks. But if it's in winter or the hot weather, make it 9 weeks before you water it. Before you fertilize any tree when you repot. Okay, so that what our soil already in. Make sure you use the back of your palm, go around the edge of the pot. This stops the water traveling to the edge of the pot a lot, so it gets more into the tree. So I normally keep the soil close to the root a lot loose than the outside of the pot. I get really, really tight around the pot. Later on, you can dress the tree with moss or with whatever stone you like. And that's about it. So that finished our repot. So now quickly we already did the wiring before, so we're just gonna bend the tree a little bit. It's not a completely bonsai yet, but it will become one day. What do you think? I think it's all right. So now we clean up the tree and just pick your style. I just didn't like anything on the bottom here, so I'm gonna take it off. You see how the wiring before we did? If you need to bend this tree now, you hold your finger, 2 fingers on the bottom, your thumb on the top, and you can pretty much bend this wire any way you like it now, and then just shape this. Can you imagine when I do this and I break trees? You guys would have a good laugh. Probably not. I feel like the tree is a little bit too tall, so we're going to pick a new leader here. And I'm going to take that off. I'm going to take this in a bit. And don't get scared with trimming tree too. The more you trim, the more you cut, they grow better too. And this is not really bonsai yet. You're building the frame at the moment for future tree. So you can just go in and quite harsh with the tree. When I mean harsh, it's just to pick your frame, and then you can just trim it down to future growth of it. Thin the tree down a bit too. They create too much fungus if you keep them all too thick. If you watch me doing this and you said it's a bit rough and all that, I agree to you. But this is you training the tree for future trees. So later on, you just end up with a tree like that, and then your apex is there. And hopefully this tree can get to me about that size in about 3 years. Then it will suit with the pot. And then all this, if every month you come out and trim the tree down, just to build up the frame here, and then you trim your tree so you can build all this up slowly in time. If you want it to grow faster, then you can keep it in the plastic pot. But as you see here, in my garden, I got no room for big pots, so I just keep them into a little pot so I can take care of them. But to me, that what the tree look like. I will show you this tree maybe in about a year time. Remember, all the tree that I post, if you ever want to see it, if it haven't been sold, or even it's been sold, I can still go to my client and video it for you to look again. I was just pretty much in tears the other day for the Simpaku forest. One of my friends took it, so I got a bit sad. But that's all right. I'll go to his house and take it back one day. Yesterday, there was, I think, where Andy asking me, can you do a video on an oak tree? Oak tree, I only had a few. I really wanted to do one video for you to have a look at that too. But pardon me, the trees is way too big for me to do by myself. So hopefully in the next few weeks, if I have time, I'll get a helper to help me to repot that tree. Actually, it needs to be repotted. It's been about 10 years, so I will look forward to do that for you, Andy. Thank you for always following Madam Bonsai and make her feel wanted. I always have a good laugh with all my visitors here. They think I hide it, all the trick and don't show them everything. I said, no, I show everything. There you go. What do you think, Lachlan?
Pretty good.
Yeah. So after you do this, take the tree out to give it a good water. When you water a tree that you just repot, gently with it, just leave it on a shower head and water it once, come back and water it again. This is beautiful weather, so you can leave this outside. Don't have to hide it anywhere. Thank you for watching and looking forward to see you next one. Subscribe to Madam Bonsai as usual, and then I will try my hardest to feed more information to you guys all from now on as the weather got a lot better. And goodbye for now.